I request him to please come on stage. Along with him, the panelists are Mr. Sudeep Sarkar, General Manager of India Exposition Mart Limited and Honorary Secretary of India Convention Promotion Bureau, Mr. Sambit Kumar, Head Trade Fair High-Techs, Mr. S. Subramaniam, Senior Director and Head of Trade Fairs BIEC, that is Bangalore International Exhibition Centre, Mr. Deepak Kakkar, Senior Manager North, KND Communications, and do we have any representative from ITPO? Moderating this session is Mr. Igor Palka, CEO of BC Expo India. He has represented Burma at fair-related presentations and negotiations with trade associations around the world. BC Expo India Private Limited organizes BC India, a Burma Con Expo show, and Mr. Igor Palka is the CEO of BC Expo India. From ITPO, we have Mr. Jayant Das. He's the General Manager of ITPO. You
want to invite from Kodacia also?
Hello. Yeah, very good afternoon to this panel discussion. I think you all are aware of the very interesting topic, how exhibitions boost the city or state economy, and we are looking today at the venue owner's perspective of that matter. I think, as we all are from the exhibition industry, we all know what kind of money exhibitions can generate, what kind of turnover is made. We all could look into our books of accounts, into our profit loss accounts. We could all see what kind of figures there are, but we want to go a little bit beyond that and see what else is there, not only about the exhibitions that are the direct effect, but also into the indirect effects, and hear a little bit about pros and cons and the benefits and the issues that the venues here in India face. Here at the panel, I would like to welcome Mr. Sambit Kumar Mund from representing Hyderabad, representing the High-Techs venue, Mr. Balasubramanian, Senior Director and Head of Trade Fairs from the Bangalore International Exhibition Centre. Mr. Sudeep Sarkar, here our host today from the IEML General Manager here at the venue in Greater Noida. And Mr. Jayant Das, welcome you on the desk, representing the ITPO. And yes, already mentioned, my name is Igor Palka, I'm the CEO of BC Expo India. An organizer as such, I had the privilege to host an event here already at the venue. However, that's not the topic of today. We're gonna jump into a short introduction. I would like to have my colleagues here on the panel introduce themselves briefly, short, and not themselves, but maybe their venue, maybe their location a little bit, then about themselves. Sambit, you want to start?
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Good afternoon. My name is Sambit. I'm from High-Techs. High-Techs, as you know, it's centrally located with equidistance from all the major cities of the country. In the first phase, we have 10,500 square meter of indoor space and 40,000 square meter of outdoor space. In a year, generally, we organize 50 exhibitions, out of which 35 around will be trade fairs and around 15 will be social events. Over the year, High-Techs has contributed to the growth of the city also. We'll discuss that, Igor, over our discussion.
I think within this discussion we will come to that.
Thank you.
Bala, may you give us a little introduction of the Bangalore International Exhibition Centre?
Yeah, good afternoon, friends. Bangalore International Exhibition Centre is built and managed by the Indian Machine Tool Manufacturers Association. As an exhibition centre, we are spread over 35 acres, and the exhibition halls spread in 3 halls, totaling to around 42,000 square meters. And we are the first LEED certified green exhibition center. Along with the exhibition center, we also have the food court, conference center, and all the additional hardware that is required for an international exhibition center. We are also soon going to be expanding, probably doubling the capacity in the next 3 to 4 years. So whatever we have currently at 42,000, we should be doubling it in the next 3 to 4 years. Some of the major shows that we have at our own venue is our own exhibition, which is Intex, the machine tool exhibitions spread over the entire square meter that we have, plus we put on some additional temporary, high-quality temporary structures. Then we have XCon from CII, we have Electrama from IEMA, and then we have Stona, India Wood. These are some of the biggest shows which occupies the entire length and breadth of the exhibition center. That's the introduction of my exhibition center. Thank you.
Mr. Jayanta, you would like to briefly introduce yourself also?
I am from India Trade Promotion Organization's Pragati Maidan. This is a body which is under the Department of Commerce, Ministry of Commerce, Government of India. And this is one of the nodal agency for organizing fairs, both in India as well as abroad. We have the campus of 150 acres of land, in which we have around 21 halls for display or organizing fairs, in addition to the state pavilions. And we organize on annual basis from now onwards around 20 domestic fairs done by ITPO, in addition to around 70 to 80 fairs of third-party fairs in Pragati Maidan in New Delhi only. Thank you.
Yes, and last but not least, Sudeep, our host here today.
Thank you, and good afternoon to all. Thank you to IEIA for giving us this chance to host the 5th IEIA Open Seminar. About our venue, if I have to tell you, it's one of the first purpose-built and the most successful public-private partnership model. That's exhibition come convention come an international mart that has been mooted by the parent body, initially Export Promotion Council for Handicrafts, and then by a board of director. We, in terms of our area, we have a 235,000 square meter area, out of which 135,000 square meter is built up. We provide a very dedicated exhibition complex with the most modern, integrated, and facilities. And looking into and considering the demand from the larger exhibitions that are happening in northern India, we are now going for a capacity addition of approximately 40,000 square meter with indoor exhibition halls. Of course, those are all air-conditioned halls. So that would take us quite a notch higher in the industry status in terms of integrated exhibition area that we provide under one roof. We organize approximately, let's say, 20 to 25 exhibitions. The largest of them is, of course, the world's largest is India Handicraft Gift Fair in October. And yes, thank you, Igor, that we have been able to organize BC Expo after a marathon follow-up with yours. We have also been the proud organizer and the host, again, for the Auto Expo, the motor show, which saw a footfall of 6.5 lakh over a period of 5 days. With all due respect to my all competitors. And then we organize Petrotech, and a lot of large conferences have also started coming in, considering our conference facility over here, which can give you a sitting capacity of approximately 3,500 packs per plenary hall, which can be further subdivided at a given point of time into 12 more parallel sessions. So that gives definitely an edge for us to, bid and for large international conferences where we have done World Dental Congress, Petrotech, Apicon, International Hand Surgery, where nothing less than 5,000, 5,500 people come in a plenary, and then followed by 40 to 45 parallel sessions at any given point of time. So that's about India Expo Mart.
All right, thank you very much. So we have pretty much exhibition space here spread all over India. Obviously, many other places could join. We heard today that it should be the plan in future to have 20 modern state-of-the-art exhibition centers in 20 major cities all over India. However, I think here are on the desk the representative of the most modern and biggest exhibition centers currently in India. Let's go a little bit into detail. Let's look in the past and say, since when is your venue operational, and what has happened since then? I'm asking because why I'm asking. Again, we are looking at the boost of exhibition centers, or the boost that exhibition industry gives to the state. So, what kind of investment has happened locally in order to improve your situation here and towards a venue?
See, High-Tech started in 2003 in a 54-acre campus. After High-Tech started, in a 5-kilometer periphery of High-Tech, we have 5,000 hotel rooms now, and in a periphery of 12 kilometers, we have 10,000 hotel rooms. And after the new airport, which moved to Samsabad, High-Tech has come to the center of the city now in Hyderabad. And we have a 6-lane expressway connected to airport. A distance of 40 kilometers can be traveled in half an hour. We have large corporates, companies like Microsoft, Google, and Capgemini. A lot of pharmaceutical majors. They have set up their operation in this part because the new High-Tech city has developed along with it, High-Tech city also developed. So we have a lot of IT companies, a lot of corporates from both technology as well as traditional sector. They have come up, and I'm sure we have High-Tech has played a role. And by end of the year, we'll see metro also running to.
I just wanted to ask, what about the metro? The public transportation is usually something that we seek to in order to connect the
our
venue.
Our venue will be connected by end of the year with metro line.
Bala, maybe you give us a little bit of an interview. What has happened in Bangalore? Since when is the BIEC there, and what happens?
What I've seen from the last from the year 2007, I've been there in Bangalore. That was the year when the first exhibition was held in BIEC. That was started with our own exhibition, which is Imtex 2007. We were treated as like we are outside the city suburbs. It's quite far away. There were no proper road connectivity in terms of, though we were located in the Bombay-Pune highway, the roads were not that well done. There were no hotels. Of course, now, if I tell you the current situations, we have around, in the vicinity of 5 kilometers, we have around 3,000 4-star and 5-star category rooms. In terms of the service apartment and the lodges in the vicinity of 5 to 8 kilometers, we have close to around 5 to 6,000 rooms available. In terms of road connectivity, we have a 6-lane express highway connecting the Bombay-Pune highway, which is already operations. There is an elevated road, which is starting from the nearest railway junction, which is Yeshwanthpur. It just drops down around 2.5 kilometers from the venue. That's a development after 2007. There was a metro connectivity coming to a place called Pina, which was a year back. From the 1st of May, there was the metro station is terminating at a place called Nagasandra, which is around 2.5 kilometers from the exhibition venue. So that's an extension from the place which we had earlier. And as you all know that Bangalore very well, there was a place called the bus terminus called the Majestics. The government is planning to decentralize the bus terminus and move the buses which is going to the western part, which is Bombay, Bangalore, Goa, to a place which is closer to the exhibition center, which is in Pina. So all the buses which are going to go to this part of the states and the other cities, they would move from the Pina metro junctions. So in terms of road connectivity, in terms of metro connectivity, the bus terminals moving, they're all moved towards just closer to the BIC within 2 to 2.5 kilometers. So those are some of the activities. And plus in terms of the hotel, 5-star hotel coming up, we had only the one 5-star hotel which was there, which is Golden Palms, which was around 5 kilometers from the exhibition center towards the Bombay Highway. Today we have brands like Sheraton, Taj Vivanta, Movenpick, Marriott, all in the closer proximity of BIC.
So may I sum up, the Bangalore Exhibition Center was at the beginning far away, it's now middle of Bangalore, almost.
I'm sure a time to go probably should be in the midst of the city then.
Yes. People might wonder why we are going to those facts, what has happened. What we want to highlight is that based due to the exhibitions, due to exhibition centers being located there? What kind of infrastructure projects have been launched, have been executed? What kind of roads, highways, hotels, all of that has been built just because of exhibitions being located in one certain area. So this is what we want to highlight, is that obviously not only our exhibitions are making profit, are generating tax revenues, no, also the projects along with the exhibitions, with the exhibition venue, are creating projects, tasks, jobs, everything. But we are going to go into detail that is just for our audience, that why we are talking about what has happened here in the past, to showcase how many projects have already been launched, executed, and we are talking about here the last 5 to 10 years. This is our major project that's happened in Hyderabad and Bangalore. What about Delhi and Greater Noida?
If I can add just one point here, in terms of the metro connectivity, which is terminating at Nagasandra, which is 2.5 kilometers from the venue. In terms of the government has already declared in the phase 3, the last point of metro termination is going to be the Bangalore International Terminus. So Bangalore International Exhibition Center will be the last point of the metro, which is going to happen. The work is, I think, except for the soil test and the things have been started. I'm sure that time is not too far, but probably that we will have a metro coming to the exhibition center.
Meaning more visitors to come on a direct and faster way.
Yes.
Very good. What has happened in Delhi and Greater Noida?
About Delhi, ITPO has already started their redevelopment plan for the whole exhibitions ground, and we are working to make it as an internationally accepted on all the facilities available. We are planning to have a convention center, which is maybe within a month or two, this work will start. We will also be developing our halls. Now vertically, we will be increasing our space of exhibitions. So accordingly, we have a redevelopment plan which is already been approved, and the things have been going on work. In addition to that, for the development of the other regions, we are also working, as already Chennai and Bangalore has been done. In addition to that, Assam, there is an Assam TPO, there is APTPO, there is Assam Trade Promotion Organizations, that has also been done. And similarly in Calcutta, we have also done Milan Mela, where it has also been developed with our assistance with them.
All right, well, a few words towards Greater Noida area. This is, I think, an area where we saw what is happening, what is being built here on our way coming here. Sudeep, what has happened since you're here and since the venue is here?
The venue started way back in 2006, but by the time I joined last 4 years, if I give my views, the most prominent ones that I have seen and that have established India on a global scale is, of course, India Expo Center hosting the largest Asian Development Bank Congress, the World Dental Congress. Those are I've already shared with you. But if you see in terms of infrastructure and the facilities, yes, the Formula One is definitely one of the major addition. Then Taj Expressway, cutting down to travel to the Taj by almost half the time to 90 minutes is a major experience for the international as well as domestic exhibitors and visitors that are coming and having the facility to look at the Taj. Yes, the Noida Metro Rail project, yes, we all are not fortunate to have the government money, but somehow we have also made the state government realize that yes, the Greater Noida Industrial Development Authority and also to Greater Noida Industrial Development Authority, that India Expo Center plays a very pivotal role in boosting the state's economy. Not only states, it's the India's economy. And they have realized it, and hence the metro station has already been planned and the work has already started. That's a great news for all of us. By 2017, we will have the metro ride, fortunately. And yes, Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Development Corridor is another very important corridor that has started from here. In addition to that, the local government is taking care of the first night safari in India, with bird sanctuary for tapping the tourism potential part of it. And there is a plan for a heliport as well as an airport also, but the heliport has already been sanctioned. And then, of course, as we know, our address is Knowledge Park 2. So we have very large universities setting up their bases over here. So we have a pool of very intelligent people coming out from this part, as well as a lot of corporate have also established their footfalls over here. So as to say, if you look at any convention come exhibition center, it doesn't really generate much of an revenue for itself, and more to the case when it is a public private partnership model. But it does give a boost to the entire state economy in order to support infrastructure that comes up in terms of accommodation, the roadways, the hotels. If I look at the hotels, the number of rooms that was there in 2008 was approximately 400 in 4-star. Today we are looking at a figure of 3,000 in 4 and 5-star. And there has been a jump of 75% rooms in the service category. I have the facts and figures available with me if you wish to look at it. Then if you look at the kind of transportation that has improved to this part. And yes, that's an overall development. So it's not a development of only the venue, it's a destination development that has happened. Yeah. So we call it the destination development that has happened as being the India Expo Center at the heart. Not only because of India Expo Center, but it plays a pivotal role in bringing that economy to that standard.
But Sudeep, I want to repeat something that is very important what you mentioned. It has been recognized by the local government, right?
Yeah, that is a very important.
That is something that I want to highlight here. I don't know about the other places and the other areas, other cities, but I think this is something that I want to highlight here. The local recognition of the local government to recognize the exhibition venue, the exhibitions as such, as a driver, as an economic driver, that give the state, the city, further revenue due to all the services that apply. Obviously, how is it in your states?
Yeah.
How is the recognition there?
Luckily for us, in Hyderabad, we have a government which is giving impression of a proactiveness. Both Chief Minister as well as his son, Mr. KTR, they have announced publicly their support to the maize industry. So now it's up to us, to the industry, how we represent our case to them. And I'm definitely, if properly represented, we'll get support from the state government also in Hyderabad. They have announced publicly their support. And in fact, they have created a concept called Happening Hyderabad, and they are extending all kind of support. And JWT is working for the branding of the activity.
I think whoever was there with us last year in Hyderabad at the IEIA Open Seminar at 4th edition was witness of that support. We got that, and we were all could witness that.
Yeah, and we have two governments to work with.
Yeah.
We have Telangana as well as Andhra Pradesh. So and both are competing with each other in this space. For sure, a lot of new things are going to happen in coming days.
Very good. What about Bangalore?
We're not so lucky as the other my friends here in the dais, but of course, though there is no government interventions, our partnership in our venue, which belongs to the association. But I'm sure the relations are very conducive with the government as to whatever help that we would require from the government that has been coming through to us of late, including the expansion plan that we have. But in some of the major government events like the GYM, Global Investors Meets, has been happening with us in the last 2 editions. The next one is also supposed to be held in the month of November this year. So some of the government events, and definitely the government and the bureaucrats at our state have recognized this. Definitely the exhibition center here boosts the economy, and as our own exhibition that which happens, and some of the other large exhibitions that happens in a venue, it's quietly very implied, and they see the economic activity has been happen. So we definitely have a good kind of relation with them, and they definitely endorse this infrastructure which has been created by an association, supports largely to the economy and does an important role to the state.
All right, let me follow with a very tricky question. How much money they make through you? Is that monitorable? Can this be put in a figure how much taxes is being paid? How much money is making the local government
I
due
may
to
not be
air
able-
exhibitions?
I may not be able to tell you directly what goes to the state, but we do a bit of an back of the envelope calculations every year in terms of tax. Both to the central and the states, we give away something, a couple of 100 crores in terms of tax.
That's only for Bangalore speaking.
That's
right?
only for the bank. That's
Okay.
only for our
For-
exhibition center.
Right.
So I'm sure you could estimate or maybe calculate what kind of revenue. I'm just talking about a couple of 100 crores as taxes.
All right. Anybody has other available
In
figures?
our case, though it's again unscientific way of calculation, but it will be not less than 50 crores or 500 million rupees in a year.
That's big,
Hyderabad.
very big numbers, I have to say. Yeah. Sudeep or Mr. Jayanta, do you have any comparable figures that can be highlighted? However, I know, and this is something that we want to highlight, and this is why I'm very thankful about Mr. Saeed's report on facts and figures that was presented this morning, that it's not that easy to speak about available data. Maybe Sudeep, you can tell us what kind of, is there any amount, any figure that is realistic or is there that you have in mind in terms of tax revenues?
I have some statistics available with me as we go in the as per international standard in the MICE tourism business. It is said that rupee 1 generates a revenue of rupee 7 in the tourism. So if I take even that statistics into account and go by my venue rentals with an 100 crore objective for 2015-16, it would have generated 700 crore of rupees, INR, Indian rupees, for the entire economy.
700 crore.
Yeah, that is the direct generation of the revenue from the venue itself.
Right.
It's not the boost to the economy, it's only the direct generation of the income. But if you look at the total, yes, again I'm going by the international standards. So there are calculations that are in place of with me for 2015-16. If we look for a footfall of 1250,000 people, keeping the Auto Expo, the motor show in our account, and taking the international standard of 40% of the total footfall, and 20% of them using the transportation, and 15% of them using the F&B facilities, we come to an generation of a figure of approximately 5,300 million Indian rupees.
That's for the additional.
That's the
revenues.
generation of the entire business to the sector. So these are all taken as per the tourism. But even if we just go as per the number of footfalls as such, wherein we have taken the airfare, we have taken the hotel, we have taken the transportation, and we have taken the food and beverage. This is the kind of revenue that is being generated, and
So-
this is acknowledged in the ministry's report as well.
So we're talking about 700 plus 530, and that's
Yes.
probably just a rough calculation in that matter. And we're talking about cross.
If I'm looking at a footfall of 30,000 footfall in 2010-11 to a 1250,000 footfall in 2015-16, keeping in consideration of the Auto Expo, the Motor Show, and the Petrotech, and that of Print Pack and India Handicraft and Gift Fair. So this is the kind of income that we are generating for the Indian economy as such.
I think we shouldn't go into a math class here where we multiply everything and go with the taxes. But what we just wanted to highlight is how much money is really turned over just on taxes. What other services are related to that? We also gonna explore right now. Anything to add from ITPO?
You see, this ITPO, as per the date today's, we have got a surplus fund of around 1,400 crores, out of which now 700 crores we are investing back for upgrading the facilities. They're talking about redevelopment of what ITPO, the convention center, and other facilities that we are already doing for it.
In the name of all organizers, I have to thank you for that.
That's a good news.
Yeah. So, I mean, as we rightly said, it's quite tough to get fundamental data and really figures that go on exactly on the single rupee to know exactly what taxes are turned over. However, if you look now in all the sectors that money is concerned is related to the exhibitions. If you look, what kind of customers do we face at exhibitions, right? You want to name one typical customer, or just let's go into categories. What kind of customers do we face at exhibitions, Sudeep? We have me as an organizer.
To start with you.
We have the organizers, yes.
Yeah.
We have what else do we have?
I have many other friends and colleagues also in the room, and my sir is also here to start with.
Okay.
That yes, we ensure that if I have heard the question right, the customer works away from, works back from this venue. He says, yes, I am, thank you, that you have provided what you had promised. So that is very, very important for us. Even though there are certain complaints, there have been feedbacks, there have been personal things going on, but still we make that experience unique for him to make a statement everywhere and anywhere that yes, he has gone satisfied. I'm sure you would have also been
Absolutely.
Same comments about us.
Yeah. What I wanted to go into is what kind of customers do spend money in and about exhibitions, right? So what I want to go is we obviously face the organizers, right? We face the exhibitors and we face the visitors. Let's concentrate on those. What kind of major expenses do, let's say, the organizers now have? What would you say? Give us a...
Organizers used to spend a lot of money on the construction of the semi-permanent facilities or temporary facilities for taking their large exhibits. Now that we have taken care of large exhibition halls, so that's a saving for the organizers. But we have become neighbors in another point of view. That's a debatable thing. But then organizer does spend money on this, on the stand construction. That's a major, and of course for the visitor promotion. For any event that is being organized here.
So again, money.
Yeah,
money,
but
money
then we do compensate economically, I will say, in a complete package to offset the cost of the visitor promotions, etc. and all. But yes, there are the organizers' cost. Visitor promotion is a must. The stand construction, of course, that's inevitable. And third is the venue rental that they spend.
I think the exhibitors also spend money on stand construction and sometimes big money. If you look at double story or big stands here at major events, the stands have a couple of 100 square meters. Also at Auto Expo, I saw a couple of great stands. What other expenses do exhibitors have where they spend money? And they spend the money, I have to mention again, in the area, right? The money is with at least the taxes remain with the local government. So what kind of other expenses do the exhibitors have?
Exhibitors predominantly, some of the bigger chunk of expenditure is like the stall rentals that they pay, and then the stand construction material. If there are people who are raw space, like taking typical example of my own exhibition, which is IMTEX, we have close to around 400 exhibitors who take raw space. So every raw space has got a stand contractor. So
right.
You have 480 stand contractors working at the exhibitions. I'm talking about only one particular exhibition.
One particular.
And then you have 1,200 exhibitors, and out of which 50% are international. So they stay at some of the 5-star hotel.
So travel?
And travel, accommodations, shopping, entertainment, and again, some of the labor cost and the freight forwarding.
Right.
These are some of the major heads which most of the money for the exhibitors go into. And that's the biggest problem. Of course, it has a multiplier effects into many of the areas, but this you can consider some of the chunk of the money which goes, percentage of the money goes into these are the headings, expenditures.
Did you ever estimate, or does anybody of you know what is the average expenditure of an exhibitor, domestic or international, coming to a trade, participating with everything together? What that average expenditure would be?
No,
Probably hard to estimate.
We would have just the percentage actually. Maybe,
yeah. But I think that would be another interesting fact to know what is the average that a company spends yearly on exhibitions that, let's say, regularly takes part, just to know how much money is being, again, turned over here. I think that is something that, if it's in the facts and figures of the report that has been presented this morning, that would be very interesting. If not, maybe it can be included in the next one. And then we have the visitors, right? What are the visitors?
Yes? May I add, if you look at the corporate budget of the large corporate, that have a budget for the hotel and transportation and that of the airfare, including of the food and beverage, that is 40% of the company's budget on an average. So that could be one of the yardstick. Like Pepsi, like Coke, like any large companies in the Fortune 500 or Fortune 5000. So they have that kind of a budget for participation in the exhibition part of it. There would be some kind of conferences also included in it, but majorly into this part of it.
And the visitors.
Yeah, visitors will be spending money on travel, of course, and they will also be spending money on retail activity, shopping and all, and of course gastronomy and their hotel stay, food. I think these are the three major expenses for the visitors.
All right, so what we can sum up is here that either it's the organizer, or it's the exhibitor, or it's the visitor. They all have to travel. They all have to look for hotels. I think we can take this as a very good example how much money again is just made or spent during a year on in that sector. I think we all heard how many hotels have developed and are there in each respective region. Close to Pragati Maidan, obviously, that's in the center of Delhi. There are also numerous hotel rooms. Now, to estimate how many rooms are directly booked because of exhibitions, I think that's, again, a very, very difficult number to get. If we would have that multiplied by an average stay of 2 days, 3 days per show, multiplied by an average price of, let's say, 8,000 to 10,000 rupees per night, I think overall in a year that would be a quite significant sum. Yeah, it's a figure that I think we all might not have directly. So again, this would be very interesting also to know what kind of indirect money is being transferred here in hotels because of exhibitions. And moreover, jobs, right? It's not about not only about the money that is being created here, not only about the money that is being turned over here, it's also about the job creation, which is another boost to the economy. It's creating jobs, again, additional further new purchasing power. Give us a couple of examples. What kind of jobs are being created because of the exhibition venue, because of the exhibitions happening? Give us a few examples.
Of course, like Sudeep mentioned, stand construction. There will be local travel company, they will get jobs. Retail will, of course, there will be a lot of business in retail, so there will be a lot of retail activity will happen around the exhibition venue. And another thing, what I feel is when exhibition happens, our local small-scale entrepreneur, they get an opportunity to interact with their global peers. So it create business opportunity for them and create growth in their industry, and it definitely indirectly
I think that's
jobs.
an additional value that can be hardly put into any valuable amount. The expertise that is brought from abroad or from other regions of India to one specific place to learn. Yes. What other points?
Again, considering one of the largest exhibition that in our venue, we measured it sometime and we saw by the number of badges that we give, service badges to the, we measured that we have given something like around 9 to 10,000 badges. So at any given point of time, there are 9 to 10,000 people at the venue who are basically service providers. I'm not talking about the exhibitors, but they are service providers. They could be security, because during a non-exhibition days when we have only few, tens or 20 guards there, but during exhibitions we have close to around 200 guards. So that kind of employment we have. Then when we have housekeeping, again housekeeping we have close to around 300, 400 people working during exhibitions. These are some of the numbers. So at any given point of time during the setup and the dismantle. Now I'm just barring the exhibition days, something like close to 9,000 people inside the complex. And this something which has happened outside, the transportation, the rickshaws, the taxi drivers. Yeah. Those are some of also the indirect employment which is created due to the exhibitions happening in the venue.
I just want to mention all those 9 to 10,000 people who are on site at a particular time of the day are usually getting hungry at a certain point of time. So again, we need somebody who prepares the food. We need somebody who sells the food. We need somebody who cleans it up. Again, jobs are being created. Labor is there. Again, the exhibition. This is all because of the exhibitions. We create jobs here in a certain, obviously, at a particular point of time, temporary, but obviously through the higher frequency of shows, more and more often. Any other areas where you would say further jobs are created because of exhibitions?
You see, as a part of an exhibitions, there is a chain of reactions for the employment of different supporting services like F&B, like constructions, like logistics, like if you see there is by bringing the technology much easier and safer for the interest of the mankind, even safety today is one of the important, very important things. And when so many people get together, all these things come in directly or indirectly because of these exhibitions and other things being organized. So there is an indirect chain of reactions for development of employment as well as for development of the city or the regions there where these things are being organized. So that's
right. Any other example? I would go even that far to say that on the way from Mumbai to Delhi in the Indigo flight, the 250 rupee sandwich that I buy is also related to the exhibition. The 250 rupee that I spend on the sandwich that I need to eat because I'm going to an exhibition is kind of indirectly connected to the exhibition industry. So we see how far that goes, how far we're reaching with our industry, how far and how much money is involved. Now I think, one more point, you mentioned it with regards to Agra, the tourism sector. I think the exhibition industry and the tourism sector should go hand in hand. Again, based on exhibitions, once you're there, I mean, I would not go to exhibition without, or being here without going to Agra, I have to admit. So again, we are very much affecting the tourism sector as well. People are consuming, as you rightly said, using cabs, drivers, cars, trains, further stays in other places because of being after the exhibition, visiting certain places all over India, exploring India. That's the beauty, that's the additional benefit or the additional advantage that people are exploring India or different regions of India. I think we highlighted quite a lot of advantages that the exhibition bring and how they boost the economy. And Sudeep has one more point.
So one more point that I would like to add is that all the new government in India has started that smart city identification and also giving that status. So it would be very great that if that smart cities tag can be given to all the exhibition-oriented cities, exhibition venue-oriented cities, or even convention venue-oriented cities, so that the kind of expenditure that the organizer or the exhibitor or the visitor spends, there are various mechanisms of measuring that, because in the smart city they are making it all through RFID and all. So the entire expenditure or the investment can be very thoroughly calculated. And this is a very big necessity, because unless until you do not know what is the depth of the river, you are not able to swim. So unless until you don't know what is the total investment that you are generating and what you can generate, you will not be able to take your future decisions. So that would be an appeal from IEIA maybe to the government that they should definitely attach that smart city tag to all the venue-oriented cities, so that this can be very articulately measured, and then the decisions can be taken accordingly.
Actually, you just replied my last questions that I would have to everybody of you. Now, we talked about the additional benefits, the advantages, how the exhibitions boost the economy. Now, let's look at the upcoming Diwali. If you would have one wish for a Diwali gift, for a Christmas gift, for any kind of help that the local government could give you in future, that would help you even boost the economy of the exhibitions and your particular venue even more, what would that be? We just heard from Sudeep what kind of initiative could be taken, maybe through the body of IEIA. What kind of further ideas, subsidies, I don't want to mention anything, could be done to easy up your life and to generate even more?
I would pick up infrastructure development because whatever we've been saying in the metro connectivity and road connectivity, if the metro is terminating to the BIC at the earliest, it will be very advantageous. That's going to be top in my wish list. Then in terms of any clearances,
everybody has just one wish.
Yeah, no, I would top that in my wish list in terms of connectivity, so that it makes things very easier for both for exhibitors and the visitors, so that it also creates a lot of buzz in it. The second would be in terms of clearances matter, any clearances which goes to the government, which is related to our infrastructure development. If that speeds up, that would be my second one. And the third one would be, make the atmosphere, the business atmosphere, very conducive.
All right.
For any organizers coming to our state or the exhibitors or the visitors, make it very conducive for them to make any kind of business transaction. That would be my 3 wish list.
Wow, 3 wishes. Any further wishes in our last minute before the mic shuts down?
To recognize us as a group of hardworking people who are creating a business, and don't treat us separately as any other this thing, and be a facilitator for the activities and new thinking we are bringing into the to the MICE industry or to the exhibition industry, and experimenting with different subjects, trying to create new events, which will in long run benefit to the state only.
Yeah, let me raise the bar a little bit more. Let's all recognize us, or let the government recognize us more and more as an industry, and what we are doing for India, what we're doing for the state's economy, to be that more recognized, so that we all be sitting here again and talking about huger figures and more revenues for the tax in terms of taxes. Thank you, everybody, for that interesting discussion. Sudeep, last word. Just because you're the host.
No, that's
you may have the last word.
My wish is, please give us more business. Just don't create more facility just because in the name of creating facility. First see the demand and then create more facility. Every other day there are some newses of some 1 lakh square meter, some 2 lakh square meter, some 3 lakh square meter. Please don't give us sleepless nights. Give us some comfort. We are giving you comfort. Please show us the demand. We will build it up for you. Thank you,
Sudeep. Thank you, everybody.
Well, from what we gather from this discussion is that the exhibitions do a lot to improve the state's or city's economy. Not only do the exhibitors benefit, but all various other service providers in the city benefit from this. And corroborating this viewpoint were our eminent panelists from Hyderabad, Bangalore and NCR, and of course our representative, Mr. Jayant Das from ITPO, a premier trade promotion agency of the Government of India, for organizing trade fairs. May I now request Ms. Sonia Parashar, the Executive Committee member of IEIA, to present mementos to all our panelists. And of course, it was very well moderated by Mr. Igor Palka, CEO of BC Expo India. That's for Mr. Igor. Let's hear it for Mr. Igor Palka. Mr. Sudeep Sarkar.
Thank you.
Mr. Sambit Kumar.
Thank you very much.
Mr. S. Balasubramanian. That's Mr. Jayant Das. Mr. N. Balasubramanian. And for Mr. Sambit Kumar.
Thank you very much. For that, I have to pay another few rupees on luggage allowance, I guess. It's quite heavy.
You can bill us in next BC Expo, we don't mind.
added revenue for the cargo. It's almost tea time now, but we don't want you to go out and have tea because we'll be serving tea right here as we invite on stage our next panel.